Welcome back, 10. So right now I'm just going to take you through how to graph using intercepts. So as we talked about before, when a graph is in this format, we could rearrange it and solve for y, which I'll show you in a few minutes, or we could just graph it using the intercepts. So the y-intercept and the x-intercept. Now, you notice that it's not in y equals mx plus b form, so we have to do a little bit of work in order to be able to do that. So the first thing you should keep in mind is that whenever we have a point on this y-axis, so this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, just like before, and -1, -2, -3, -4, and -5. Well, each of these if there was a point right here, the x coordinate would be 0 and the y coordinate would be -5. So anywhere along this axis, we say that x is equal to 0. So x is 0 and then y is -5, -4, -3, -2, and -1. And that holds true for my x-axis. So again, if I do this, so this goes to 5 and then or I'm just going to make this to -5, right? Well, anywhere along this axis, if I'm not going above or below the axis, but I'm sitting on the axis, then that tells me that my x has to be 0. Or sorry, my y has to be 0. So here my y would be 0, my x would be 1. Here my y would be 0, my x would be 2, etc. So if I came up with an equation for this line, the equation for this line, my x-axis, is actually y equals 0. So I'm going to use the fact that on my y-axis, all my x's are zeros, and on my x-axis, all my y's are zeros, to be able to figure out the x and the y-intercepts. So first, I'm going to set y equal to 0. I'm going to take this equation up here, and I'm going to do 2x minus 5, and instead of y, I'm going to write 0, and that is equal to 10. So now when I do the math, I get 2x. Well, 5 times 0 is just nothing, so I don't have to write it. And then I have 10. And now I know I want to know what x is. So since I have 2 x's, I can just divide both sides by 2, and I end up with x equals 5. So now I know that when y is 0, x is 5. So I'm going to go here, 5 and 0. So here, x is 5, so that's my x-intercept, and y is 0. So next, I want to figure out my y-intercept. So in this case, I know all my x's are zeros. So I'm just going to do the work. Well, I'll do the work over here. So secondly, I'm going to set x equal to 0 and solve my equation again. So I have 2x, so 2 times 0 minus 5 times y equals 10. And so then 2 times 0 is just nothing, so I don't have to write it. And then I have -5y equals 10. And so this time I'm going to divide both sides by the number in front of the y, which is -5. And so now -5 divided by -5 is just 1, and 10 divided by -5 is -2. And so my coordinate pair is going to be my x is 0 and my y is -2. And so now I can go and I can graph the y-intercept right here at -2, and then I can connect my dots and draw myself a line. Okay, so just to recap, again, right, you want to, it's not in y equals mx plus b form, so we want to find the x and the y-intercepts. So to find the x-intercept, we know it's on this line, and on this line, y is always 0. This is our x-axis, so I set y to 0 and solve. And then to find my y-intercept, that's on this y-axis, and I know my x's are always 0, so I set x equal to 0, and then I solve and I plot the 2 points. So you can always use this method to solve for, or to graph a line. So hope that helps.